Hello everybody, welcome back. Here we are on a Wednesday on the rubbish laptop, which might mean that if I do a stream tonight, it will be conducted on this crap laptop. Was my intention to get home tonight, and it still might be the case, but might not be home till later. So if I do intend on doing the stream, I'll have to stay here where I am and then do the stream on this laptop. So good news, I'm going to give you some really good news on the short term and on the high term time frame. Obviously, I've been talking about September being the area this year where I'd expect to see a decent peak, around that kind of period, around that September period. It might be before, it might be a little later, but roughly around there. Now we're approaching September. Really, it's gonna be upon us quite fast. We're end of May now, and then we've got June, July, August, and that's it. So we've got 3-4 months max before I think this cycle will have a good chance of popping and then sort of pulling back dramatically, bear market basically. Now, people are already talking about an extended cycle. I mean, I'll see it. I have to believe it to see it. At the moment, I'm still sticking with what I've been saying for over a few years now, two more years, that I think September is where we're going to peak. And last cycle, pretty much thought that we were going to peak around December. People were talking about extended cycles then, and it wasn't extended. So let's. I'm just going to stick to my plan. You stick to your plan. So we've got 4 months left at best before we see a significant peak in the market. It feels unreasonable that that's going to happen, but trust me, these things can happen. Let's have a look at the 4 hourly, and we're going to look at the total market cap, total two, so excluding Bitcoin. So we are talking specifically altcoins here, all the altcoins, just everything apart from Bitcoin. And it's looking pretty good. So the 4 hourly is looking strong already. Obviously, we've got our golden cross, which took place all the way down here. We've been bullish ever since. We've come up to a major resistance, 1.22 trillion, and we've got a golden cross to be retested down here, 1.15, so 1.15 trillion, 1.14, 1.13, those sort of areas. That's a golden cross retest if you were to get it. It's roughly around a 6 or a 7% drop from where we're at right now. On the daily, we have a fresh golden cross which is forming down here, 1.13 trillion, again matching that area that we've seen on the daily. Oh, sorry, on the 4 hourly. So we've got the daily and the 4 hourly offering a major support from, I'm pretty sure it's about 6 or 7 from where we're at right now. Yeah, it's about 7.5, 7.5 really. So we're talking between 6 and 7% lower than where we are right now. So that might mean a pullback, which might mean people get scared, which might mean people refuse to believe that it's going to go up ever again. But this would be a bullish golden cross retest after a consolidation, quite a significant one, and looking like it's put in a low around about this support that we expected it from. So yes, it's not perfect. It's certainly not perfect, but from a trading perspective, we've broken bullish on this one, and we're looking for a significant retest of this area where you get a V-shaped recovery and then some. So again, 1.15 to 1.13 trillion dollar market cap. So have a look at the weekly. Anything going on around those areas? So we've got your 21 and you got your 20 moving average, all sitting at 1.14 trillion. So you got 4 hourly, daily, and weekly, all offering a major support. If we were to pull back by that between 6 and a 7.5% pullback to this massive area on the chart, I mean, this is where it gets really good. And again, looking at this chart, we've had this chart up here for a million years, really. And we've had the low, we've had the high, we've had the higher low, we've had the higher high. We've had the higher low, which again is all on a golden cross. That's a 200 exponential moving average after the golden cross that took place on the 8th of April 2024. Bullish. It's bullish. That's bullish. This is bullish. This is bullish. This is bullish. This is bullish. And if my calculations are correct, we will be moving into this white line, which signifies the end of the cycle, based on the previous fractal, which isn't really to do as much with the price as it's more to do with the time. We're talking the fractal is a reflection of time, nothing else, absolutely nothing else. So let's have a look at that very briefly. Oh, my fractals. Okay, so we just have to keep the lines on the screen here we are, and this is my general expectation. You know, if you're watching this and you've never heard me talk about it before, I probably haven't brought it up in a little while, but we used to talk about it all the time. And this is how we sort of got towards the end of this consolidation, got this breakout here. This is going to be another breakout, which should take us all the way up to here. It won't be consistently weekly every single week leading into September, but I'm expecting the majority of the weeks to take us up to somewhere higher, a previous higher high, 1.16. Maybe we're talking 2 trillion, maybe we talk 3 trillion. You know, these are the sort of areas on the chart that I'll be looking for. The previous all-time high on the total market cap is 1.7 trillion. I think it's reasonable to expect a 2, maybe 2.5, perhaps 3 trillion, which means that we'll be looking to double the total market cap here. So that means something like Ethereum, we might see that double in price. We're currently floating around the 2,600 area, so you might be looking for a $5,000 Ethereum, maybe a little more. Smaller market cap coins will obviously go more than that, double, triple, quadruple. Micro caps obviously go a lot higher than that, and it'll be very similar to the alt seasons that we've seen in the past. That's what I'm looking for, and that's what I'm expecting to see. I'm not saying it's definitely going to happen, but I think there's a very strong chance of it happening. We're still sitting around the 64% dominance for Bitcoin dominance here. I hate this laptop so much. And you can see that we did peak over here, and we've come down. We're bouncing back up now. If we do make a higher high on this, it'll be bearish divergence at this stage. I wouldn't get too caught up in the way that the chart actually sort of gives these reads. You know, Bitcoin is still absolutely superior at the moment, but when we finally pick up pace on an alt season, the chart will become a little bit more appetizing and offer areas of resistance, which you can then use as entry points. But really, I think the simplest thing to think about in terms of altcoins is find and select your altcoin of choice and stick with it, right? And I'll leave you with this word of wisdom, okay? This is where people often go wrong in alt seasons, right? Alt seasons often, especially towards the end of a cycle, will just move as one. All altcoins will move all together, which is why a balanced portfolio to do with risk is key. You know, some high risk, which are high returns, some medium risk, medium returns, some low risk, low returns, right? They will all trend together. The market moves as one. And so when it gets to a certain point in the market where you want to take chips off the table, you want to take profit at resistance, the chances are the majority of altcoins are also ready to take profit at resistance, which means that jumping out of one altcoin and into another is going to be pretty hard because the market is one giant machine that moves collectively. Your altcoin is no different to the other altcoin, no different to the other altcoin. They're all the same. They all move as one. Some have better setups than others, but they're all moving together. So what I'm saying is, when it comes to take profit at parabolic peaks, don't feel compelled to jump back in immediately. In fact, you might not be needing to jump back in within, for a few weeks, maybe even a few months. You might have sold close to the absolute peak of the alt season, which means that they're getting ready to retrace 70, 80, 90%. So, it's fine if you want to do little scalps after this, but I'm suggesting right now that over these next couple of weeks, the next low should result in the movement towards another parabolic peak. Now, I'm not going to say, because I don't know, and a parabolic peak can't be assumed. You can't assume that when all the emotions, money floods into the market, it's going to hit this exact number, because the green candles are just a reflection of emotional buying. At the moment, the emotions are, well, neutral, I would probably say. And when we see this pullback of around 6 or 7%, the sentiment in the market will be one of bearishness. And the emotions will reflect in red candles, not green. People will be selling. But it will be, as far as I can see, it will kind of be a tragic error. It would be a tragic error because the setup that we've just looked at on 4-hourly, daily, and weekly all correspond to a major bounce, a V-shaped recovery, and massive continuation between now and September. There are a few things that could spoil that, stocks being one, the stock market being like a big problem perhaps. But as far as altcoins and the crypto market cycle is concerned, this is where things get fun and really fun as well. So get ready, because this will likely be the last chance to see some serious crypto gains. Probably the last chance that I can think of this year. And you don't want to get too clever, buying, selling, buying, selling, buying, selling. If we pull back by the 6 or 7% into these areas on the total two, go hard or go home. That's my plan. Go hard or go home. And I'm not saying this that shouldn't surprise anybody. If you are a member of my channel and a member of my Patreon, you will have heard me talk about September 2025 being the place to sell from, which means that really at this stage now, we should be looking for a place to buy from. And as the charts have begun to flip bullish on all those timeframes, it looks very much like an alt season on the total two is being presented to us, and an opportunity, maybe the last opportunity before we see a parabolic move. And you don't want to be FOMOing. You want to buy into supports, and you want to sell, well, at resistance, but also think about selling at overheated reads. So get yourself set up, ready, choose your altcoin portfolio, and, well, dig yourself in, because between now and September is probably the last opportunity to do it. Right, I'll leave with you there. Thank you for watching. I hope you have a nice day. Take it easy.